Hello everyone and welcome to my 7-day Pilates challenge. It's day 1 and I thought it was a good idea to get started with something pretty simple. This is one of the first exercises that you would learn in the Essential Matwork Pilates style. So if you're doing this with me now, you can grab a mat, clear some space, and we'll get right into it. Just to share a little bit of background on me, I started doing Pilates many moons ago for my back. I had a lot of back issues and I was diagnosed with scoliosis. Hang on. I brought my AirPods. Let me use my AirPods. That might help with the sound because I'm outside as you can see, and I didn't want to do this without a fan. I don't think I'd survive. Okay, yeah, so many moons ago, I was diagnosed with scoliosis and I used to get a lot of back pain, and I went to a physiotherapist and she has suggested that I start with yoga. I started with yoga and then I eventually dropped it and found Pilates. I started doing Pilates years ago with a lovely lady by the name of Lulu, and then after Lulu I started doing Pilates with a lady called Yvette. And then I moved to more studio in Wildy where they had equipment, and from then on I stuck with Pilates. I decided I loved doing it so much I got certified. I loved doing it, and I also loved helping other people in the class that were a little bit stuck or unsure. I just naturally felt inclined to help, and I strength trained as well. I never stopped doing that. I eventually picked back up yoga the following year after my certification, which was almost 13 years ago now. Wow, time flies. And between Pilates, strength training, and yoga, I really managed my back pain. I had gotten an x-ray, I don't know how many years ago it is now, but when I did go for the x-ray, the film showed, or the digital film showed, that I no longer had the scoliosis, but I did have a little bit of a bigger or deeper curve in my mid-upper back. So that's where I would still get a little bit of back pain, but I only tend to feel it when I'm not sitting down properly or I've been working too long seated, that kind of thing. But generally speaking, my own personal experience with my spine and trying to get it better is the point of view from which I teach my Pilates and all of my classes, really and truly. So that's a little bit about me, and this is day 1, as I said. And if you're going to join me, I'm going to keep it, I say simple, but I was teaching a class online this morning, and in that class it's called Pilates Strength, and we start with, I change it up every 6 weeks, what we're going to focus on and how we're going to approach the Pilates class. And last week we worked with weights, and we focused a lot on asymmetrical exercises. And the importance of asymmetrical exercises is to help you notice which part of your bodies might have muscular imbalances, which side might seem stronger or tighter or what have you, and then working to help try to level that out so you can function properly and move properly and increase your range of motion, etc., your mobility. So this 6-week cycle online and in my Pilates class here in person, we started with a base exercise and then we build on it. So we're going to do something of a similar nature now, starting with what's called ab prep. So we're going to start on the back, and if you have, because of, I'm so bad, I don't usually do this, I kind of just go for it, but if without it, I'm a little bit extended in my neck, just a smidge, but having your head padded up, especially if your mid-upper back, it has a really major curve to it. It's going to make the neck feel a lot nicer, and it's also better alignment for your spine. So remember, your neck is part of your spine. So if you're new to Pilates, there is this particular way we like to breathe. It's in through the nose and exhale through the pursed lips. And when you breathe in, you're expanding your ribcage out to the sides and back. I do have about 3 reels where I go in depth about how that Pilates breath works, using a fan as a visual for you. So you can always check that out after this, but for now, just breathe as you would normally breathe. The second principle I'm going to touch on is pelvic placement. This has to do with your spine. Now, as I'm lying down here on my mat, I have a lordotic curve, which means my low back has a bit more extension in it than would be considered, I guess, normal. And Pilates, we're really particular, and we want to make sure that your spine is in the absolute prime alignment. But that is not to say you're going to force your spine into a position just to facilitate an exercise. No. You're going to work with what you've got. So if you're lying down on your back right now and you have a big gaping hole behind you here, like I do, I can get my entire hand underneath there, and your pubic bone is higher than your hip points, which is the case for me. I don't know if you can see that. If you take the heel of your hands and place them on your hip points right here on either side of the pelvis, and let your fingertips touch your pubic bone, and it's dipping back like this. This is the posterior pelvic tilt, so the space between the back and the mat is going to be significantly small or none at all, depending. So what we would ask you to do then, if that was the case, and you had that mobility, you would tip the pelvis forward, bringing it from a posterior into more of a neutral pelvis, where the hip points and the pubic bone are on the same level. So thus creating that, I call it the ideal neutral spine. These are my words. This is not anything to do with my school or anything like that. This is all me. So that's what I do. So if you find that you're tilting back or you're tilting way forward like this, and the rib cage is lifting, you want to move your pelvis, rock it back and forth until you find what I like to call the sweet spot, where you're kind of settled in between those two extremes. Okay? Now the second thing is, or the third thing, is the feet. So you want your feet to be at hips distance, which would be in line with those same hip points you found before to determine the level of your pelvis. Okay? If for whatever reason you come out of this alignment with the spine, don't panic, don't freak out. Just stop, come back into it, and then we'll go from there. So I mentioned ab prep. I'm going to show you what ab prep normally looks like, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. So this is where you would be for ab prep. Your arms are going to be alongside your body with your palms facing down. You relax through the neck and the shoulders, and your spine is in that neutral alignment. So you inhale through the nose, you're focusing on expanding your rib cage to the sides and to the back. On the exhale, you nod your chin a little bit, and then you lift up. You exhale and curl up. And you're reaching your fingertips away from the top of the head if you want a point of reference. And you're pulling the navel in. We like to say navel to spine. You should feel your pelvic floor lift up, and you should feel your lower abdominals contract, okay? And then you take a breath in, and then you exhale and lower your head, your arm, your shoulders, and everything back down. So that's the ab prep. Now if you're watching closely, you would have noticed that I did not change anything in my lower part of the body when I came up into flexion. I focused primarily on using my abdominals to pull me up into that spinal flexion, but I kept my spine in neutral. And I also kept my glutes relaxed. What tends to happen when we're doing this exercise is this. There's a big glute squeeze and a tilt of the pelvis back, and sometimes that can cause the belly to push out. Now before you say your belly's big, it's not about that at all. I've got some extra weight around here too, but you can end up pushing your belly out more than it really truly does need to be. Okay, so you don't want to tilt the pelvis back, you don't want to squeeze your buttocks, focus more using your abdominals to bring you into flexion. Okay, but I want us to use our hands behind the head for this. So you're going to interlace your fingers like this. You're going to cup the back of your head in your hands and stabilize the shoulder blades on the back of your rib cage and keep your elbows wide. Okay, so come back to that neutral spine. Tailbone should feel heavy. You're going to inhale, nod the chin slightly. Exhale through those pursed lips, come up into flexion. Inhale to stay, and exhale to lower back down. When you come up into flexion, make sure you are not pulling your chin to your chest like this, because that compresses the front of the throat. You want to be able to get the sides of your fist between your chin and your chest when you come up into flexion. Now, depending on where you are, if you wanted a point of reference, you could look at where the ceiling and the wall meet when you come up into flexion. So we're going to do about 5 reps and then add on. So nod your chin, exhale up. Inhale, lower. We're cutting it down to 2 breaths. Exhale up. Inhale, lower. The beauty of using the head and the hands is it takes any strain off of your neck, and you can keep your head in that head nod position. I think this is 4. Last one here is 5. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's start with the right leg. Let's bring the right leg up into a half tabletop. So the knee is going to be stacked over the hip, and you want the heel to be aligned with the knee. Now if you have a lower back challenge and you're feeling a little bit niggly in your lower back, you can bring that knee in closer to your chest. Otherwise, you should be okay here. Now with the opposite foot, the left foot, push the left foot down into your mat, especially that big toe mound. Let's come back into our position, nod the chin. Big breath in, exhale, flex up, and inhale down. Keep your eye on that left knee. Up, and down. Let's go for 3 more. Exhale, pull those abs in, and inhale, release. 2 more. Exhale, up, and down. Last one. Exhale, come up, and down, and release the foot down. Okay, we're going to switch sides. Bring the left leg up down to that half tabletop. So when you point the toes, your ankle comes into plantar flexion, and then you can point the toes. So we'll do that now. Pull the navel in, help stabilize the pelvis. Push your right foot down into the ground. Big breath in. Nod that chin a little bit. Exhale, flex up. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Make sure you're pursing those lips so you're feeling those lower abs engage. 3. Keep the glutes relaxed. We're relatively relaxed here because the pushing of the foot down, you're going to get a little bit of gluteal action there, but you don't want it to be like a clench, a big clench. 1 more. Exhale up and release. So continuing to build, bring the left foot down. Now we're going to go into what's called the imprint. So you're going to tilt the pelvis back. So I remember when I used to teach at Surfside, I used to tell the ladies, it's like a bougie jump. You know, carnival is around the corner. We like to walk up and sing. So you're thinking about just tilting that pelvis back. So remember I said in the beginning, when you lie down, you might not have a lot of space between the back and your mat. You don't want that space now, or a very little. For me, because of the shape of my spine, I still have space between my back and my mat. For you, it might not be like that. I would say go with how it feels. If it feels that you are okay to bring your legs up like this in that tabletop position with a little bit of space, then by all means work to that. But if it feels like, holy crap, my back is killing me, then come in a little bit more, but see if you can do that by but keep up here relaxed, and then maybe bring your knees in a little bit closer to your chest, okay? So that's where you want to go. So come into your imprinted spinal position. You're loading your abs by bringing those feet off of the ground. I'm sure you can feel the difference already. So here we go. You're going to go back to holding your head. So interlace the fingers again. Hold your head in your hands. Keep the elbows wide. Squeeze your legs together just for a little bit more fun. And if you want a little help with that, when you have one nearby, grab a yoga block, place between the thighs, and squeeze into it. All right. Here we go. Nod the chin. Big breath in. Exhale. Come on up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. I'm already starting to shake. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Let's go for 2 more. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Last one here. Exhale, up. And inhale, lower. Before you drop your feet to the ground, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug, maybe a little high five there that you got through that. And then we're going to take 1 foot down, followed by the next. So we're going to add on to that. Yeah, we're building up. So what we're going to do next is extend 1 leg and then bring it back in. Extend another leg, or maybe we'll do the toe taps first. Yes, I think we'll toe tap it first. Okay, go ahead, imprint the spine again, tilt that pelvis back, maintain that imprint, and then bring 1 leg up to tabletop. See if you can bring the other leg up, squeeze, 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 no movement through the pelvis. Get the legs at hips distance now. Hold your head in your hands, and we're going to toe tap. Now with the toe tap, you are literally tapping your toe down to the mat, but the movement is coming from your hips. You're not doing this. This is can. It's kind of cute, kind of sexy, but it's wrong, at least for this purpose. We're moving from the hips, so that should look like this. I'm just going to do a little quick demo. You're going to tap, move from the hip, and come back up. So the angle at your knee does not change. If you find it difficult to keep this angle at your knee, you can get a block and place it on the back of the leg, but you got to hold on to it. So that's going to keep you in an isometric hold with that hamstring. Woo! I don't know. I think you could try it. All right, let's go for 5 reps, starting with the right leg. I just demoed on the left so you have a good frame of reference. But here's the kicker. You're going to nod the chin and hold the head and shoulders up when we do the toe taps. So now we're loading the lower abs by having the legs up, but we're loading the upper abs by having the head up. Let's try for 5 reps on the right side. Big breath in, lower the toe down. Exhale, back up, stay on the right side. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. That's 2. And 3. Woo. And up. And 4. Oh my goodness. And up. And 5. And up. Right to the left leg. Tap it down. And up. 2. And up. Can you all see me shaking? Maybe you're too busy shaking yourself. 3. And up. 2 more. 4. Woo. And up. And 5. Jeez Louise. And up. And head and shoulders down and knees into the chest. Hug it out. How was that for you? Welcome, welcome everyone. This is day 1 of my 7-day Pilates challenge. We're starting off easy with toe taps. Did somebody comment? I can't make anything out. Awesome can versus yeah, can for the win. All right, so we're gonna add on to that now. Getting a little bit tougher. So with the knees bent, that is a short lever. All right, so we're now gonna bring in long lever into the fold. So go ahead and imprint again. Tilt the pelvis back, maintain that imprint. Bring one leg up. So here's your test. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale again. Quick inhale. Exhale. Okay? Here we go. So here's what we're going to do next. Head and shoulders going to come up again. Your neck is relaxed because you're holding your head up. You're stabilized through the shoulder blades. You're going to stretch one leg out. So squeeze the butt, get that leg out, and pull it back in. All right? So loading the leg, the abs more by creating that long lever. All right? So do 5 on the right, then 5 on the left. All right, here we go. Big breath in. Reach that leg out. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale out. Squeeze the butt. So reach and pull it in. That's 2. 3. 4. And 5. And in. If you found it difficult with the exhale to bring it in, switch the breath up. It doesn't matter. Use the exhale where you find there's the most effort. I think the most effort is bringing that leg in, maybe. So, inhale out, exhale in. That's 2. 3. 4. Last one here. And 5. Head and shoulders down, knees into chest. You can rock a little bit from side to side. So we're going to add on some more and add a twist. So we've gone from ab prep into the, I don't remember what number in the Essential Matwork Repertoire this exercise is, but it is one of the exercises in the ab series. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna do something else before we get into that rotation. So we're gonna alternate extending those legs out while we're holding the head and shoulders up. Okay? Ready to do it? Let's rock and roll. So, I don't know what time it is. I should be keeping an eye on the time because I didn't want to be out here. I could easily be out here till 4 o'clock. Okay? So, tilt the pelvis back once again. So the abs are engaged. Take a breath in. Exhale, squeeze a little bit more. Get one leg up. Big breath in. Exhale, pull the other leg up. All right, now nod your chin. Lift your head and shoulders up. Hold your head up. Chin away from chest. We're going to start with the right leg. Big breath in. Exhale, reach one leg out. Inhale and switch. 2 and switch. 3 and switch. Squeeze that buttocks and reach those legs long. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's keep going. Let's do 8 more. 8, 9, 10. Wait a minute. 11. I just checked myself. How am I counting? 12, 13. We'll do 3 more. 14, 15, and 16. You might as well go to 20. 17, 18, 19, and 20. Head and shoulders down, knees into chest. Give yourself a hug. Bring one foot to the ground, followed by the other. Go ahead and lower your knees off to one side. Come back through center and switch to the other side. Good. All right. So let me just check my time really quickly. I almost couldn't roll up there because my abdominals are like completely asking me like, what's up? Yes, these videos are going to stay up on my IG. I have a, what do you call those, a highlight with the one I did last year, and I can add these to that as well. Let me just see if there are any other comments. All right, what's that? Thank you. Thank you. Read the comments, read the demonstrations and the cues. All right, so we essentially did the first exercise in what you call the ab series, what I call the ab series. So I'm going to segue into the second one, which is the obliques, which I kind of touched on. Oh, I forgot to look at the time, which is the whole point of me coming in. What does that say? Let me get my allies. Okay, we have 8 minutes. All right, so we'll do that. We'll go, how's everybody doing so far? If you're doing it with me, are you okay? Are you feeling it? And you guide, wait, what? God, I don't know, I keep taking off my glasses. I enjoy the cues and you guide your students very well. Thank you, I try, I really do. I had a private session here at my home on Saturday, and I was saying to the ladies that, really truly, some of us might not like to exercise, but when we do, we should enjoy it. So I like to make it fun. I like it to be informative. I like to really, I can really feel my abs, the grief. I like to make sure you understand what you're doing and the why of it all, and that you can get the most out of it. So we're gonna do a little bit of that rotation, but I think what I'll do for tomorrow is I'll pick up from where I finished off today. So we'll start with we'll come back to that neutral spine and keep the feet down and add the rotation. Now, one thing, I just said stabilize your shoulder blades, but I didn't speak to that. So let me speak to it now. When it comes to the shoulder blades, your shoulder blades, if you didn't know, are not attached to your rib cage at all. They're only attached to your collarbone. So that's why they have so much movement, or usually have so much movement around the back of the ribs. They can go up, which is called elevation. Let's demo really quickly here. So this is called elevation, this is called depression. So they can glide up, they glide down, and they should glide. There should not be any sticky rigidity or anything like that. If there is, it could have to do maybe with how they are on the back of the rib cage, or maybe you just need to, you're probably carrying a lot of tension up there, and some stretching and some movements might help alleviate that. So those are 2 ways that the shoulder blades move. Another 2 ways they move. I'm just going to sit sideways for you to see this. So when you bring your arms out in front of you, where your shoulder blades are naturally is what would be considered neutral. However, depending on if they're winged, and that means that they're kind of like lifting away from the rib cage, you might need to make an adjustment to get them to feel like they're flat on the back of the rib cage. So when you find neutral for you, that's where you would start. When you move the fingertips forward without leaning forward, you feel the shoulder blades move away from each other, kind of like elevator doors opening up. That's called protraction. When you move the shoulder blades away from each other, reach your hands forward, that's called protraction. When you squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, again, don't bend your elbows, that's called retraction, when the shoulder blades come in towards each other. So those are the other 2 ways they move. Another way, I don't know how much you can see, but I'll turn around nonetheless, is upward and downward rotation. When you do arm circles, they're moving up and down, and I kind of visualize them like windshield wipers. So that's the shoulder blade movement there. Upward and downward rotation, protraction and retraction, elevation and depression. So when you bring your hands behind your head, there's this tendency to do this, which isn't protraction. I call this abduction because the shoulder blades are moving away from each other, but they're not necessarily gliding forward. So with a little bit of upward rotation too, actually, or downward rotation. So you want to keep the elbows wide where the shoulder blades are flat on the back of the rib cage as best you can. So that's what I mean when I say stabilize. So you get them in place and then you squeeze the muscles that come in around here. They look like wings. And you squeeze them to stabilize them. The head nod that we do, it happens at the very top of the spine, and literally all it really is, and it's a big point, is when you lift your upper body up off the ground into flexion, and even if you're going into extension, you want to be mindful of your neck. Our head is about what, 10 to 12 pounds, and I want you to try this. In fact, do this now with me. Come back onto your back. Do not drop your chin to your chest. Take a breath in and just exhale. Lift your head up. Straight up. Hold it up. Put it back down. I don't know about you, but my head felt like it weighed like 10 pounds. In fact, 20 pounds. Nod your chin a little bit now. That chin nod, make a fist. Put your fist on your chest. And then nod your chin. Your chin might not touch the fist, so don't force it to, but you want that space to be maintained when you get up. So nod your chin a little bit, and now lift your head up, just as you did just now. And comment which one felt different. Which felt nicer on your neck, or felt that you could do more reps when you nodded your chin versus when you kept your head, your neck. Sorry, no nod, no nod of the chin. If you can comment and let me know if you tried both and how it felt, great. I see something popping up. Well, if your head is about 30 pounds in weight, without that head nod, it's gonna weigh even more. Yeah? So that kind of like takes a lot of the pressure off of the neck when you're lifting your upper body into flexion. Imagine if you had weights. It would even be worse. So you definitely want to make sure you take care of the spine. Okay? And again, the neck is part of the spine, so don't forget to take care of the neck. So let's just get into a little bit of that rotation that I promised, and then I'll wrap it up. Because everybody's abs must have gone all cold now after all that chitter chatter. Okay, so let's imprint that. Oh, right, we're staying in a neutral spine. Fingertips either by your temples, or let's continue with the holding of the head in the hands, not the chin. So we're going to twist to the left first. So we're going to take a big breath in. We're going to exhale, bring that left knee up, and twist. Now when you twist, it's easy to just bring your elbow around, but I want you to think more of leaning with your shoulder to the knee, and then the elbow can follow. Inhale, come back down, lower back down. Let's go again to the left. Big breath in, nod that chin. Exhale. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale down. Keep the elbows where they are, so stabilize the shoulder blades. 4. Last one here. And 5. Now hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pulse it for 5. Pulse. 2. Lead with the shoulder. 3, 4, 5. And release. Let's go on to the other side. Big breath in, exhale, come up. And inhale down. Push down into that left foot. 2. And down. 3. And down. 4. And down. 5. And down. I think I did it differently last time, but let's come up and hold it here now. Hold it. It's an isometric hold. So squeeze your obliques. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now pulse it. Pulse the shoulder to the knee. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. You can walk your feet in a little bit closer, or if you like, you can bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then go ahead and rock up to seated. I'm going to scooch in here now. That's it for day 1. Oop. Yes, the head. Yeah, oh, good. I'm glad you tried both. I always like to make sure that people, students understand that I'm not just telling them stuff because I can. I'd like students to try these things for themselves, feel it in their own body. And Yay, okay. And yeah, try it in your own body, see how it feels. If it doesn't feel right for you, you're not forced to do anything that I tell you. At the end of the day, I don't live in your body. I don't know what you're experiencing. I can only teach from my lived experience and from what I understand based on my training. So, as I've said before, I learn as much from you as you may learn from me. So I'm glad you're here, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I didn't know it was going to be a half hour, but hey, I got into it, got into the zone. So tomorrow we'll probably look at that second, maybe the second and third exercise in the ab series. I don't even know. But if you have anything that you would like me to focus on as it relates to working your core, and just so you know, for me, the core is not just about abdominals. The core is working your inner thighs. The core is working your back muscles as well. So let me know in the comments below this video now what you want me to focus on. Yes, I definitely have, and I'm always willing to learn. And every year I'm doing more workshops to get more information. And I also, like I said, I teach from my own personal lived experience and what I see in my own, what I experience in my own body, and what I realize other people might be experiencing in their body, because I really do want to help. I don't like to think of us as being necessarily limited by what we have. I have a rotated pelvis, my rib cage is rotated, I've got that extra kyphosis in my mid-upper back, one leg is longer than the next, but I still show up and do my best, you know. So thank you. Well, you know, we're supposed to be of service. Giving back is something that I like to do, and I love Pilates. It's really helped me a lot, and it continues to help me, and I can see how it's been impacting the students in my classes. And I know that we may not always be able to afford to go to a Pilates class or have access to Pilates. So if you follow me or you've come across me and you can take like 30 minutes to do a little bit of something good for yourself, I'm happy to be a part of that. It's all about what you want to. This is Women's Herstory Month. This is part of my her story is empowering women. Well, filters help. But yes, thank you so much. You're too kind. And I'm glad you were here, and I hope you can be here tomorrow. Spread the word that people know where I'm doing this, and they can jump in, and even if they can't do it, they can do it later. You can watch and maybe learn a thing or two, and it keeps me accountable as well, you know. So yeah, it keeps me on my toes. So speaking of toes, my toes are actually screaming at me for being in this squatted position for so long. So I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna head back in, and I will see you all here tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. ASD, for another Pilates day 2. All right, don't forget, comment. Let me know what you want me to focus on. I'd be happy to accommodate. Bye, everyone. Mwah, peace and love. Oh, thank you so much. I do try. One more thing I'll say to you. It's Raphael, right? I hope so. Gosh, I hope I didn't get your name wrong. I'm so sorry if I did. You can write it phonetically for me. I think one of the other things I try to offer is, you know, when you realize that there's certain things you may not have experienced in your life growing up, I like to offer what I felt I lacked, if that makes sense. So I do try to be encouraging and uplifting, because it's something that I didn't always get. So it's important to me that everybody feels encouraged and included in my classes. All right, beautiful people, I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.